Today on Monkey Life, two of the park's more unusual residents get a health check from wildlife vet John Lewis.
They were taken from, obviously, the pet trade. Very thin. They've lost a lot of hair.
Red-bellied guenon baby Biff goes all out to dine out, with backup from Mum Nia when needed.
Nia is doing absolutely fantastic. She's extremely attentive to the baby, very protective, and seems to do everything right.
And little orangutan Mimi experiments with nest building. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
I know, this is a big leap of faith, I know.
The park provides a home for more than 260 monkeys and apes from 24 different species. At the park's hospital, the team are about to examine two of Monkey World's more unfamiliar and possibly unique primates, Brass and Evie. The pair have been giving the primate care team real cause for concern. Both males have drastically lost weight recently and also suffered hair loss and a general decline in condition. The team were so concerned, they've called in wildlife vet John Lewis to take a look.
So what have we got them on at the moment?
The pair came to the park 3 years ago from a pub in Altrincham, Cheshire, when the landlord was unable to care for them and had to move on. They were living with two female common marmosets. All four came to the park. They're so unusual, no one has been able to identify exactly what species they are. But the team think they could be hybrid marmosets, a combination of silvery and common marmosets. When they first arrived at the park, Brass and Evie were in poor health. But with the staff's expertise and a bit of TLC, they've been doing really well. Until now.
We don't know their age, I presume.
John is checking Brass over first. Both are showing similar symptoms, and later he'll be able to compare the two small primates. Blood sample results should help with any diagnosis too.
These are a couple of rather odd calatrichids. They're probably hybrid animals of different species that were taken from, obviously, the pet trade. Very thin. They've lost a lot of hair, but I'm not convinced that they're totally happy in the enclosure they're in because they're overlooked by squirrel monkeys and so on. So their keepers are going to move these two into somewhere which is a bit more less threatening to them, perhaps, and see if that makes a difference. By which time I would have had the blood results and could see if they've actually got evidence of any kind of internal serious disease.
John finishes his examination of Brass. And Jeremy has Evie ready to be anaesthetised with gas. John soon discovers both marmosets are suffering from the same sort of bowel complaint.
Evie's clearly in better condition, more muscle, but he also has the same obvious thickened loops of bowel that you can see as well as feel in the abdomen.
He can't be positive until he has the results of the blood test, but John is pretty sure that the pair are showing signs of a syndrome known as marmoset wasting.
If they don't show weight gain relatively quickly after moving, I think we'll try and assume that we have a degree of inflammation of the bowel, probably chronic inflammation, and try and design treatment to address that.
Both marmosets will be returned to their bedrooms to recover. Over the next few weeks, the care team will carefully monitor them, and if there's no immediate sign of improvement, they may need further examination and medication. The park's marmoset complex is full to bursting. The majority are, like Brass and Evie, refugees from the primate pet trade, which is still legal in the United Kingdom. Often, they've lived alone, without company of their own kind, which is vital for their well-being. so the park try and pair them up as soon as they arrive. Frank and Douglas have been together for 2 years. Today, primate carekeeper Louise is giving them an enrichment of corn on the cob. Some still on the stalks, and other kernels suspended in their enclosure. To make life a little easier, Louise has opened up some of the leaves.
We always try to keep them curious and busy, otherwise they get bored in set-up enclosures, so we try to provide them with different things every day. This is quite nice for them. They have really strong claws and they are really good at hanging on things and climbing. So the fact that it's hanging down, it's nice, so it kind of will give them some exercise as well. And it's also a food item which they actually like, so that'll keep them busy and happy for a while.
The pair are let into the outside enclosure. They're different species of marmoset. Frank is a Jeffroy's with a big white face and large tufted black ears. He's quite easy to tell apart from Douglas, who is a common marmoset. He has white tufts and is smaller in size. They seem to get on very well together. Their enclosure is full of natural foliage, providing them with an excellent network to climb and plenty of foraging opportunities. Today's enrichment of corn, however, seems to be passing them by. Perhaps because it's bigger than they are. Douglas does give one of the cobs a cursory glance, but he seems more interested in the small cameras put up to record the meeting. It's not quite what staff had in mind, but still great to see them checking out new and unusual objects in the enclosure. Marmosets love to tree gouge to get at the sap inside. Frank gives it a go on one of the corn stalks. Not the reward he'd hoped for, perhaps, but to lie down in the warm sunshine more than makes up for it. With summer in full swing, the park has harvested corn for all the primates. And while the marmosets weren't over-enthused with the seasonal crop, some of the larger primates love it. It makes a healthy and tasty treat. Today, it's the orangutan nursery group who are the other beneficiaries. Primate care member James is putting the stalks all over their enclosure.
Orangutans in the wild, they're 99% arboreal animals. They'll spend most of their time up high in the forest canopy. In captivity, they do have a tendency to be a little bit lazy on the floor sometimes. We try and get everything up as high as possible for them most of the time to make them do that little bit more exercise. And it's just really great for their mental health and their physical side of things.
Sylvester is first out of the blocks and heads straight for the corn. It's been a year since he last tasted it, and he wastes no time tucking in. But for Mimi, the youngster of the group, it's her first experience of the large stalks. She's not sure what to make of them, and decides to watch and learn from Sylvester. Bulu Mata enjoys breaking open and eating the sweet and tasty stalk while upside down. But matriarch Oshin, who loves her food, refuses to make the effort to reach the corn, instead foraging on the ground for anything else she can find. Enrica is also happy with the less strenuous alternative. After learning from Sylvester, Mimi has taken it all in. Or has she? Rather than eating the corn, she makes a nest with the stalks, something orangutans in the wild do every day. By manipulating leaves and branches, they make a fresh bed every night to sleep in. Although Mimi's nest-building skills need working on. It's been a few weeks since the team had to split the two adolescent males, Jin and Sylvester, following a play fight that went too far. They now take it in turns to come out with the rest of the group. Today, it's Sylvester's turn to enjoy their company and have some fun at the same time. He may be developing into a young adult, but he still revels in a good play session. The park has 20 gibbons from 5 different species, and today, primate carekeeper Kat is going to give one pair a seasonal treat. Golden-cheeked gibbons Kim and Tien are getting fresh-cut cherry browse, full of ripe fruit. It's being suspended high up in the tree canopy of their outdoor enclosure.
It's really exciting because the actual cherries are on it, they're ripe and ready to eat. They also will eat the leaves as well, so it's a really nice browse. So I'm just going to put it up on the pulley feeder so that they're actually going up nice and high into the trees and sort of eating in a really sort of natural way.
The 2 gibbons live in a wonderful tree-filled enclosure. But most of the bigger trees are pines, which lack edible material. So the browse keeps life varied and interesting for the pair. Kim and Tien are a very close couple, but it's 11-year-old female Kim who's in charge. She's definitely the more dominant of the 2, and she loves her food. She's soon picking the cherries from the suspended feeding station. 13-year-old Tien takes a flying leap at the easy option, happily tackling the large cuttings left lower down by the team just for him. Kim demonstrates how perfectly adapted gibbons are to life in the trees. They are exclusively arboreal, and in the wild don't go down to the ground. Their long arms allow them to swing from branch to branch, a form of movement known as brachiation, and the gibbons are experts. Their hook-like hands and strong grasp keep them safe living in the tops of the trees. In the wild, they're known as perfect seed propagators, distributing seeds away from parent trees as waste matter, or by spitting them out. They travel many kilometers in search of food, helping to regenerate the forest as they go. Kim and Tien were both born at the park, and it was hoped that one day they could be rehabilitated and released into the forests of southern Vietnam. Life in the trees at Monkey World would be a good preparation for such a release. Unfortunately, releasing gibbons back into the wild has proved difficult, and the team at Monkey World's sister sanctuary, Dao Tien, have faced many obstacles along the way.
With anything, there's always risk, and there's never been a successful gibbon release in Vietnam. We've done the Dukes, we've done the Loris, and gibbons is something we're still working on.
Dr. Marina Kenyon oversees the day-to-day running of Dao Tien. It's been her goal from the very beginning to successfully release rehabilitated gibbons back into the wild. After a number of false starts, 2 months ago the team at Dao Tien released one of their rescued gibbons, a female called Bin, into a new part of the forest, not currently populated by other gibbons. And so far, she's doing well.
As a single female in the forest, it is quite scary and tough. Normally your family would help guide you. So she's kind of doing the hardcore teenager leaving home. But over the weeks, she's getting much better. She's expanding her home range. So every week we download the data from the collar. She's around 8 hectares now. So for the first week, she stayed at around 1.5 and literally just kind of stayed within 5 trees. But she's slowly moving further and further. We need her to get to around 20 hectares, 15 hectares before we know that she's comfortably got enough food to survive there. So at the moment we are still supplementing her. But she doesn't follow us now, she ignores us, she's busy doing her own thing. So she's feeling more comfortable.
If everything remains positive, there are plans to release the next set of gibbons soon. A family of 5, with an older teenage boy who could be a perfect mate for Bin. Marina is hoping the pair will establish a lasting bond, just like Kim and Tien back in Dorset. It's important all of the primates at the park are given the opportunity to live a life as close as possible to that which they might experience in their natural habitat. But there's one enclosure where this is a real challenge for the care team. It houses a mixed species group of 5 and includes a recently born youngster. Red-bellied guenons Benny and Nia and their 14-week baby daughter Biff live with the odd couple. That's ancient ring-tailed lemur George and the park's only patas monkey, 25-year-old Mitsa. Today, they're going to get a tasty assorted enrichment, which should appeal to all 3 species. Primate care member Sharon is putting out whole plums and kiwi fruit, along with something a bit different. Banana plant stems with treats hidden inside, which should keep them all busy and active. Mitsa and George are let out first, followed swiftly by Nia with baby Biff clinging on. Dad Benny is close behind and has already spotted the unusual banana plant, stripping away the layers and tucking into the succulent flesh inside. Baby Biff has come on leaps and bounds in the last few weeks. She already spends a great deal of time off mum, happily exploring the trees and leaping about. But she's yet to master the technique of tackling the fruit on offer. Nia is doing a good job of rearing her daughter. She's relaxed enough to let her go off exploring, but still incredibly protective, especially with Mitsa around. However, she sometimes torments the patas monkey just for fun.
Nia is doing absolutely fantastic, and I think even from very early on we were kind of quietly hopeful that things were going to work out because she was extremely attentive to the baby, very protective, and seemed to do everything right. You know, I think they're starting to see this as home now. They've really relaxed around the primate care staff. They're hand feeding from us now. They're coming and going reliably. We're starting to learn kind of what items of food they like, what enrichment we can give them, and how they like to move around. So it's been a big journey for them, but they've really come on.
Nia tends to keep Benny at arm's length for the moment, but he's not too worried. He loves the trees and the leaves and makes the most of the fresh fruit that has been put out. Mitsa doesn't take too much notice of the energetic guenons. When she's not being wound up by Nia, who can't resist tugging at her tail, she's quite a laid-back character and has been at the park for 8 years. As for elderly George, nothing phases him much, until Nia gives him a gentle tap. But this interesting mixed group appears to work well. And for Biff, it's home, a place where she can flourish. A good summer at the park means fun, sun, and lots of outdoor play for the primate residents. And while they enjoy the warm weather, the care team work to ensure the animals they tend are comfortable in the heat of the day. Keeping the monkeys and apes cool and hydrated is vital, and the staff relish coming up with new and novel ideas. Today, it's Sunny's group of Capuchins who will benefit. They're already outside in their enclosure enjoying the sunshine. But to cool the troop down and give them a delicious and special treat, primate care member Katie is throwing in whole frozen pomegranates. She spreads them around to make sure all 20 in the group get the opportunity to enjoy them. The Capuchins don't need a second invitation. Where there are tasty treats around, they are quick off the mark. Pomegranates have a tough exterior skin, especially after being frozen. But they're no match for the Capuchin's sharp canine teeth. Jenny has already ripped one open and is busy devouring the seeds inside. Sonny's second-in-command, Bruce, uses a different method to break the fruit apart. This is exactly the sort of technique Capuchins in the wild use to crack open fruit and nuts. They're incredibly strong and have even been known to carry objects heavier than themselves. The smash-and-grab approach certainly works for Bruce. Even female Terry, who's 34, manages to collect a frozen treat. She's the only pet trade Capuchin in the group and arrived with appalling mobility issues. So it's good to see she hasn't missed out. Tia and Tallulah agree to share. The pomegranate seeds are ideal for encouraging the Capuchins to use their nimble fingers. The fruit is encased within a fibrous pith and held together in a tough outer shell, so the monkeys have to show great dexterity to pick out the seeds. Letitia is an expert. Leader Sonny cracks open his fruit with ease, but being top man isn't without its problems. When one of your females, such as Tia, is pilfering your prize, and another, like Tallulah, is flirting outrageously, it's hard to get anything done. And unfortunately for Sonny, there's no let-up, as the girls compete for his attention. Capuchin flirting comes in various guises. Raising the eyebrows and rubbing the chest is the most direct form. Veronica takes it one step further by tagging Sonny from beneath the platform. He just can't get any peace. But, as the saying goes, it's tough at the top. Next time on Monkey Life, Alison's in Yorkshire, linking up with the RSPCA and the police to rescue a Capuchin living in poor conditions.
This needs to be done, but it's never easy when people are getting upset. I'll have to see how this plays out.
And Ruby's babies brave the outdoor enclosure. Today on Monkey Life, Alison's in Yorkshire linking up with the RSPCA and the police to rescue a Capuchin living in poor conditions.
This needs to be done, but it's never easy when people are getting upset. I'll have to see how this plays out.
Orphaned orangutan Hujan tells foster mum Roro it's time to come in for his milk feed.
Good boy, Huge. Done. Boom. Good boy.
And Ruby's babies brave the outdoor enclosure. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. A team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Hey, missus. Benny and Nia. Oh, there's a little boy.
The park provides a home for more than 260 monkeys and apes from 24 different species. It's early morning in the north of England. Alison has travelled through the night to West Yorkshire on a rescue mission. She was contacted by the RSPCA following information from a concerned member of the public about a monkey living in inappropriate conditions.
I've been told about a single Capuchin monkey that lives in a cage attached to the side of a house in a very exposed, cold place. As far as the RSPCA are concerned, it doesn't appear that the Capuchin monkey, which I've identified, has any heat and is living outside all on its own. And in a few minutes, I'll be meeting up with the police and RSPCA, and we'll go and certainly inspect the Capuchin and its environment with the consideration of whether or not we confiscate.
It's a scenario that, unfortunately, is becoming all too common in the UK.
There's still a legal trade in keeping primates as pets in Britain, and it's a real problem because most people don't know what they're doing. And the monkeys suffer, and the breeders and dealers keep selling these animals, telling people they can just keep them in garden sheds or in bird cages and that they'll be fine, but that's the furthest from the truth.
The RSPCA officer, Kim, arrives at the meeting point near the house. Alison has worked with her before.
Hi, how are you going? Yeah, it's been a while.
Kim has been to the house and tried to make contact with the owner, to no avail.
This construction is attached to the side of the house.
Okay.
And it's been there a while because the algae that's on there.
The RSPCA are so concerned about the monkey's welfare, they've asked the police to assist. Alison and Kim are hoping they'll bring a warrant to enter the premises and inspect the monkey.
Nice to meet you.
Pleased to meet you.
You too. Nice to meet you, Gemma.
The officers arrive with good news.
We have the warrant, that's all done, and now we'll head over to the house and see if we can find anybody to let us into the cage, because it is padlocked. So we'll either have to cut it open or deal with it somehow, but we'll have to find out if the owner's about and what's going to happen. So this is where it starts getting interesting.
It's a short journey to the house where the Capuchin is being kept. The cage is joined to the outside of the house, open to the elements apart from a small section covered in plastic sheeting. Alison has to wait for the police to execute their warrant before she can enter the cage to get a good look at the Capuchin's condition.
This needs to be done, but it's never easy when, you know, people are getting upset. So I'll have to see how this plays out.
Alison knows all too well that some owners can be well-meaning, but without the knowledge or expertise to give the animal the appropriate care. There is another issue. Capuchins are classed as dangerous wild animals. To own one, you need a license, and this owner doesn't have one. It's a waiting game until the police can give Alison the all-clear to rescue the monkey. It's been 5 months since the park's youngest orangutan arrived in Dorset from Krefeld Zoo in Germany. 2-year-old Hujan has settled wonderfully into life in Tuan's group and is now a fully integrated member, with adopted mum Roro as his constant companion and chaperone.
Roro has been absolutely awesome, better than expected, considering the fact that she had 2 of her own that she didn't look after back in the day. Yeah, they've really hit it off, and she's been a proper foster mother with him, really caring for him and really just making sure that he's okay throughout the day, which is fantastic for us.
Roro has relished taking on the maternal duties. She's never too far away and always ready to give a helping hand if needed. Hujan's presence in the group has also given Roro a lot more confidence too. Previously, she was a quiet, slightly reclusive orangutan, but these days she's more self-assured around the others. The youngster has also brought out her playful side with everyone. Hujan is getting stronger and stronger, and eventually there'll come a time when he won't need his adopted mum quite so much. His climbing skills are already amazing. He can scale most of the enclosure, and he's clearly got a head for heights. He's encouraged by his new firm friend and playmate, 7-year-old Awan. She's a bundle of energy, and the two spend hours in each other's company playing and having fun.
Come on, Roro! Come on, Hujan!
The team are pleased Hujan is at home in the big enclosure, but they also need to ensure he'll come back in when needed. To persuade him, he has daily milk feeds indoors. When the youngster and his foster mum head inside, the rest of the group are given an outside scatter feed, so no one feels like they're missing out.
We've been developing a little bit of a regime with him now, so he's coming up to the house midday to have that milk. Gives him a good reward for coming into the house, getting him to know his routine properly throughout the day, if you like, of where he can be and what he can do. And then he goes back out again, and then he'll do the same sort of about 4 o'clock-ish, as I say, to come back in for his PM milk. So 3 milks a day, and then all the fresh fruit and vegetables and leaf feeds as well. We're doing a lot of browse at the moment, being the summer months, so he's really enjoying eating that with the other guys as well.
But today, Roro fancies a nibble of the scatter feed first, and it's up to Hujan to lead the way. By the time they make it indoors, the rest of the group are there as well.
It's okay. All big and scary, lots of new people in the house. Eh? You're a big boy now, though.
The daunting 80-kilogram bulk of Tuan nearby doesn't faze Hujan in the slightest.
Good boy, Huge. Oh, brave boy.
2-year-old Hujan is a real character, and it's clear he feels right at home with his new family at the park.
Done. Boom. Good boy.
Back in West Yorkshire, Alison is waiting for the green light from the police to rescue a Capuchin monkey living in an outdoor cage in the owner's backyard.
It would be good to know if she would be helpful, like to learn something about the monkey. Its name, how old it is, where she got it from.
That's it.
The police have served a warrant to enter the premises and are inside the house talking to the owner.
The lady doesn't want to sign over her monkey willingly. She's stating that she's got licenses. We're not sure whether that's the case or not because nothing's come up on the police records, at least at this point in time. So I'm just in holding pattern, trying to make sure that I don't upset or make matters more fractious or difficult, but it's clear to me that the monkey needs good and professional care.
Should we eat worms together?
Alison has had a chance to interact with the monkey and take a look through the mesh at its living conditions. She's concerned at what she's seen.
It's not good. I'm trying to see if it's a little boy or a little girl. Haven't really gotten a look in between the legs. The back end's a bit seized up. There's a rotten melon on the floor and stagnant water. On top of that shed is just a world of filth and muck. That's really not very nice. Her skin appears very thickened and a bit angry. So no, it's not a good or healthy circumstance for this monkey. She needs company and she needs good, clean health care. And I would say that she should also probably have a vet check to be looking at that skin of hers.
Look. I know.
A closer inspection gives Alison the opportunity to determine the Capuchin's sex.
Would you like another one, huh? Are you a good girl? I think you are a girl.
She's 99% certain it's female. Now she's keen to get inside the cage. It's open to the elements, which means the monkey may not have had much shelter or heating throughout the winter months. Alison doesn't have to wait much longer.
The police are happy to see you and you do what you need to do.
The police have given Alison the go-ahead to confiscate the Capuchin on welfare grounds.
The RSPCA are very clear that they want the monkey seized regardless of licenses or paperwork on a welfare confiscation. So I've been given the all clear.
Now it's a case of trying to persuade the lonely female down to the ground where Alison can grab her safely and get her into the travel box.
Look at this. Oh.
Easier said than done.
It's okay. You're a good girl.
Don't want to have to net her, but she thought about coming down and looking at the box.
You want this?
Tried it the nice way, yeah, for about half an hour. And at this point, I think we probably just need to get on with it.
Hey, little girl.
It's time for Plan B. Alan brings in the net.
Oh, I know you're very upset now.
The Capuchin is backed into a corner and forced down to the ground.
Down, keep her down. Quickly. I can't keep her in, get her in. Okay, got it. Yeah, totally fine.
Job done.
That was actually not too bad. Frightened her down to the ground with the net, grabbed her in the box quick. It's often easier to do it that way, but now let's just check this place over, make sure that RSPCA get all of the information that they need to make sure that this doesn't continue, because this isn't right.
The RSPCA inspectors take photographic evidence of the Capuchin's living conditions.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Very nice to meet you.
Yeah. No doubt we'll see each other again.
Yeah, please come down anytime.
Now it's time to head back to Dorset and a new home and future for one fortunate Capuchin. With so many primates living at the park, the primate care staff are kept busy working to maintain the health and well-being of each one. During the colder winter months, this can be a tough task. The apes in particular are prone to catching viruses, such as the common cold, just like us. Chimpanzees are so closely related to humans that minor ailments can transfer from one species to the other.
Because chimps live in a large group of very social animals, they spend a lot of time grooming with each other, socialising with each other. You've obviously got the infants that sleep with mums. They have best friends, they'll be off playing, and a chimp play laugh is a very heavy breathing. If they've got a cold, that will spread like wildfire through the entire group. So to keep their immune system strong, it's very important for us to make sure they've got all the vitamins and supplements to ward off the dreaded colds. It will literally just go through the entire group. And if they're not prepared for these sorts of things, we can end up with really ill, sick chimps. They don't have hankies and they don't have sleeves, so the snot just flies everywhere. They don't really stand a chance of not catching it. If it comes into the group, everybody's going to go down with it. And a group of sick chimps is not a happy group at all.
Hananya's troop are getting their daily vitamins and supplements to help bolster their immune system and keep them as fit and healthy as possible.
Good boy. Every day, all of our chimps get some cod liver oil, some evening primrose, extra vitamin C and a bonio as a reward for taking it. Just helps them keep in good shape. Vitamin C wards off the dreaded colds. Believe you me, chimp flu is far worse than any man flu that you'll ever get. We have to be careful as well, so if they do become ill, all of our keepers will wear face masks around them so they don't pass it on to us. And if we're ill with a cold, again, we wear face masks so we don't pass it on to them. They are so closely related to us that any illness that we can get, they can get. So we have to be very careful around our chimps when we're not well ourselves.
Some individuals have other ailments requiring specific treatment. Trudy has an ongoing back condition and needs a glucosamine supplement each day.
Trudy.
However, she'll only take it if it's been soaked in orange juice.
Good girl.
The daily routine runs like clockwork. Even young Thelma has learned to come in and take her medicine.
Good girl, Thelma. She's learning. She's like a little sponge. The way she soaks this behaviour up and watches closely what the adults are doing. She's a bright spark, and she's definitely a chip off Cherry's block.
Hananya's chimps, like all other apes at the park, have access inside and out all day. The houses are heated and filled with blankets and bedding to keep everyone warm and comfortable. But it's important they all go outside and have some fresh air too. So the first meal of the day is normally in the enclosure, allowing staff time to clean out the bedrooms.
The more that we can make sure these guys are fit and healthy and happy chimps, that keeps us happy and healthy as well. So it's very important for us, particularly in the winter months when they're not so active outside, to keep these guys, their minds working, their brains working, their bodies working, physically stretching themselves as well as mentally. It really is a vital, vital thing that they have to have.
It's been an eventful time for Marmoset Ruby and her partner Oscar. 4 months ago, she gave birth, surprising everyone by delivering quads. Unfortunately, 2 of the babies didn't survive the first few weeks. But the remaining pair, a boy and a girl, are doing well. And with the warmer weather, have started to take their first steps into the outside enclosure.
It has taken them a good few weeks to pluck up the courage to go all the way down the tunnel and then enter the outside enclosure. But now they've found it, they love it. They're out there all the time. They're very, very active. Obviously, they're youngsters still. They're running around, really enjoying the outside enclosure now they know where it is.
The team have named the pair Merry and Pippin. Merry is the female and the more confident and adventurous of the 2. Pippin, the male, is a little nervous, but is starting to follow his sister's lead. Their little and large parents, Ruby, one of the biggest marmosets at the park, and Oscar, one of the smallest, have coped remarkably well, considering both arrived from the pet trade with little knowledge of how to bring up a family.
Most of our animals come to us from the result of the UK pet trade, and most of them have been taken from their parents at a really young age, which is quite detrimental to any young animal, really. In the wild, marmosets and tamarin species will live with their pairs and then their small family groups, and the babies will stay with their parents for up to 5 years. That's a long time in a 15-year lifespan. It's a third of their life. And during that time, they live there because they want to learn, and they have to learn how to be a marmoset and also how to rear babies of their own in the future. So in the pet trade, when these babies are being taken away from their parents at less than 2 months old, it's damaging for them, it's psychologically damaging to these small animals. And that's one of the most difficult things I find with the rehabilitation process of marmosets. The physical side of things we can fix quite easily, but actually the psychological side of these animals being kept as pets is far more damaging than not getting the right vitamins, to be honest.
Merry and Pippin are fortunate their parents are always close by, and the foursome has become a tight-knit family unit. It's been a steep learning curve for Ruby and Oscar, but natural instinct has served them well, and the new family can look forward to many years together at the park. After a 5.5-hour journey from West Yorkshire, Alison has arrived back at Monkey World with a rescued female Capuchin. She's going to join one of the 5 groups already thriving at the park.
Good girl.
But until then, she's going to stay in one of the bedrooms, alongside Gizmo and his 4 ladies.
She's really well covered fur-wise over top because there was like very little heat. There was a little bit of heat inside of the shed, but just one of those big like reptile bars.
Alison is unsure of the new Capuchin's age. The owner claimed to have had her for 37 years, but Alison is doubtful and estimates the monkey to be between 15 and 20 years old.
Come on, missus.
The team waste no time getting her out of the travel box and into the bedroom. She immediately checks out her surroundings and tucks into the fruit on offer. The noisy, nosy neighbours don't seem to faze her. She seems quite content.
Hi, you. I know. You're a good girl.
On the way back to the park, Alison received additional information about the monkey via the RSPCA.
Supposedly, they called her Chicken The lady said when she first got her, she was like an oven-ready chicken in terms of having very little fur. So most importantly, we've got little Chook here, I guess, until we decide on what to call her, back here to the park, and she's chattering away to the other Capuchins. Primate care staff will monitor her closely, we'll do fecal checks and start checking her over, and I'll probably arrange for a vet to come down and give her a health check, x-rays, that kind of thing. She weighs 3.08 kilo, because we weighed her in the box and then her out of the box on its own, so. Little lady, but yeah, tucking into strawberries and doing good in the warm. It's great.
Next time on Monkey Life, newly rescued Capuchin Chook gets a medical checkup, and it seems her past life may have taken its toll.
I do believe we've got some bronchitis going on.
And Bart's group think extra-large ice lollies are pretty cool. Today on Monkey Life, newly rescued Capuchin Chook gets a medical checkup, and it seems her past life may have taken its toll.
I do believe we've got some bronchitis going on.
But there's better news for Gibbon Kitty, who's recovering from a mystery illness and is back in the swing of things.
Kitty has just made everybody really happy by making a miraculous recovery.
And Bart's group think extra-large ice lollies are pretty cool. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. A team, led by Dr. Alison, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
And I don't know how long she's lived here, but she's been here long enough to know that this is it.
The park provides a home for more than 260 monkeys and apes from 24 different species. It's been a week since the park's latest rescued primate, female Capuchin Chook, arrived in Dorset. For the first few days, she was kept on her own to allow her to get used to her new surroundings. But she could see and hear the 5 members of Gizmo's group, who she'll soon be joining. She's already met one of the more laid-back females, Sophia, and the pair seem to get on well. But before she meets the rest of the group, Chook will be having a health check.
We often do a health check with a lot of the new arrivals in case there's anything that we've missed from just watching her visually. We'll probably take some x-rays as well, see what her skeleton and everything's like, and that might give us a bit more indication as to what's going on as well.
Chook is crated up and taken to the park's animal hospital, where local vet Thesar Sastre is going to take a look at her.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hiya, how are you? Yeah, good.
Very little is known about the Capuchin. Even her age is a mystery, but the team thinks she could be between 15 and 20 years old.
Eating, drinking well?
Yeah, eating really well. Drinking took us a while. She wasn't that great, but if you offer it through the syringe and stuff, she's drinking fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so then...
Jeremy has the unenviable task of getting Chook out of her travel crate and onto the examination table. Not an easy job.
1, 2, and 3. Go for it. That's great. That's great. Oh.
Once Chook has been knocked out with anaesthetic gas and is stable, Thazar can begin his examination. First, he checks her ears.
So left ear, some wax, brown wax in the ear canal. Same on the right ear.
Followed by her eyes.
Okay, so the eyes check is fine as well. You can write down that.
But when he checks Chook's hands and feet, he discovers the tips of a number of digits are missing.
Right foot.
All missing.
All missing, yeah.
She's also suffering from severe hair loss on her tail and surrounding area.
Another alopecia on dorsal aspect of left thigh.
Thazar takes a number of blood samples to be sent for analysis, before taking a series of X-rays. A close look reveals there may be a problem with Chook's lungs.
So you see there is sort of like white patchy areas here. This should be black like there.
Yeah.
I do believe we've got some bronchitis going on.
It's not good news. Her respiratory issues could have been caused by living in cold and damp conditions outside, in an enclosure almost entirely exposed to the elements.
He's got quite a lot of nasal discharge, and also he's got in the X-rays we can see most likely some signs of bronchitis. So yeah, this animal apparently lived in outdoors enclosure, which in the UK is, the weather can be quite cold. Yeah, that could have contributed to that, but it's impossible to tell for sure.
Now the team have a clearer picture of Chook's health, they can monitor her and treat her accordingly. Once she's fully fit, Chook will continue her rehabilitation in Gizmo's group. It's breakfast time at the Gibbon complex, and primate care member Kat is distributing the morning meal in various feeders around the enclosure. But rather than just the normal fare of raw vegetables, lucky pair Paul and Kitty are getting some interesting treats today as well.
Inside here, we've got a mixture of some dried fruit and nuts and some mealworms as well. So the gibbons don't eat a lot of insects, but both the large and the agile gibbons do enjoy the odd occasional worms and stuff. So it's just something a little bit different and a little bit hopefully exciting, keep them busy for the morning.
The two gibbons have lived together for 17 years. Paul is the park's only agile gibbon, and Kitty is a lar gibbon. There are similarities, and they've become great companions, despite their very different characters. At 24 years old, Paul is still a very lively gibbon.
Paul is completely, definitely our funniest gibbon. Paul just loves life, and he just wants to play all day. That's all he ever wants to do is play. They have very, very different personalities.
Only a few months ago, there was great concern for Kitty. She'd lost a lot of weight, and her hair had turned silvery white. During an exploratory medical examination, her heart stopped, and the team feared they would lose her. But she's made a remarkable recovery. Fast forward to today, and she's a different animal. She's regained most of the weight she lost, and while still grey, she looks a lot healthier. For Kat, it's a bit of a mystery.
Kitty has just made everybody really happy by making a miraculous recovery from her very unusual illness that she had. We're not entirely sure. We never really quite got to the bottom of what was going on with her. The vets were obviously really quite concerned, and we were basically at the point where we were going to lose Kitty. She was so poorly. But she's turned a corner, and she's now happy and fluffy and beautiful, energetic Kitty again, and it is really, really nice to see.
In recent weeks, the team have given Kitty a daily herbal remedy of milk thistle to improve her liver function, and they've changed her contraception. But whatever the cause of her miraculous recovery, everyone is pleased something's done the trick, and Kitty is almost back to her normal self. All the park's primates are given regular enrichment to keep them stimulated. But capturing the interest of the stumpies and motivating them into action is not an easy task. There are 8 stump-tailed macaques in the group, and exercise isn't high on their agenda.
It's a constant challenge keeping the stumpies busy, obviously because of their age, their issues they've had in the past with their weight and the need for muscle tone. We do like to try and keep them as active as we can. It's not their favourite thing being active. They would quite happily just sit on a platform in the sun all day and have their food handed to them, but that's not how it works. They need to go and find it, and it's good for them.
The stumpies love to chew on anything and everything to hand, no matter how tough. The care team enjoy trying to come up with something new to appeal to the whole group. Today, they're being given logs coated in a flour and water paste, with lots of sunflower seeds attached. The paste has hardened, so picking them off should keep the stumpies occupied and interested for quite some time.
If it's got food involved, the stumpies generally will go and investigate it. Then they're probably not going to put the maximum amount of effort. They're not going to be all over it like, say, the Capuchins would, but they'll do things at stumpy speed, and hopefully they'll get something out of this.
The low rankers are first on the scene, having been given a head start over the more dominant individuals. Charlie isn't sure what to make of the logs at first, but soon works out that they come with food attached. Most recent arrivals to the group, Freddie and Toto, show no interest in the logs. Perhaps they're aware the higher rankers will soon be out. But Flo makes the most of the opportunity. In the wild, stump-tailed macaques spend a lot of time travelling and foraging in search of food. They are opportunistic feeders, often storing food items in special cheek pouches for later, when they can process and enjoy the food they've gathered. Hopefully, Charlie has done just that, as the higher-ranking members of the group head out. Sylvie immediately forces Charlie to abandon her log. The more dominant female has realised there's food involved, and she's not sharing with anyone. Noreen grabs a log and immediately gets to work. Stumpy hands are a lot like ours. The seeds are stuck on tight, and she has to work hard to pick them out with her fingers. Noreen doesn't mind sharing with leader Sam. The pair are very close. Most of the group are participating and active in their search for food. Even Charlie's managed to get hold of a log and keep it. But Toto and Freddie stick together away from the others, grooming in the warm sunshine. In recent weeks, there's been concern for 2 of the park's more unusual primates. Marmosets Brass and Evie were examined by wildlife vet John Lewis after they both lost a lot of weight over a short period of time. They also lost most of their hair, with no obvious medical problems. John felt their condition could be the result of marmoset wasting syndrome. He recommended a combination of medication plus a change in their diet, along with a move to a new house away from the noisy and boisterous squirrel monkeys they previously shared with. It seems to be paying off.
The squirrel monkeys are quite active, quite noisy, quite a lot going on in their environment. So we thought that maybe for Brass and Evie it was a bit too much for them, and they didn't really like being around the squirrel monkeys so much. It's a lot calmer up here, it's quieter, it's much more relaxed up here. Obviously we have changed their diet as well, so there's a couple of factors that may have affected them. But yeah, certainly moving to a calmer, quieter habitat for them seems to have done wonders for them.
Evie and Brass are thought to be hybrids, possibly a combination of silvery and common marmosets. But whatever their background, the pair seem to have turned a corner. They're a lot happier and more confident in their new environment, and their fur is starting to grow back. Most importantly, their appetite has returned. To check on their progress, Karen is going to weigh them both. The team weigh all the small monkeys at the park every month as part of their routine. Evie and Brass are nervous characters, and being weighed isn't their favourite activity. To entice them, Karen places gum and mealworms on the scales. Hopefully they'll stay still long enough for her to get a reading.
Evie! What's down here? Come on then.
Evie is probably the less nervous of the two.
Evie, you come on the scales, please.
But he's still wary and takes his time to calm down.
Boy, jump on then.
Eventually, the temptation of tasty gum and mealworms proves too much.
Good boy. 400 grams. Good boy, Evie. Well done. Let me go see where Brass is. Brass, do you want to come through?
It may not go quite as smoothly with Brass.
Come on, Brass. Come that way. Come on the scales.
He's an extremely nervous character, especially when confronted with anything new.
Brass, come on. Into the scales, please. Got this treats on here for you.
Even the appeal of juicy grapes fails to persuade him.
Go on then, you can do it. Oh, Brass, you were so close.
After numerous stop-starts, Brass plucks up the courage to jump on the scales.
Excellent boy. You are so clever. You are such a clever boy. Yes, you are.
He weighs in at 360 grams.
Good boy, Mr. Brass. That's all you needed to do. That was it.
Karen is pleased with their progress.
These guys are actually doing amazingly well now. Evie is borderline slightly overweight, in fact. So we want them to be between 350 and 400 grams. That's a really good common marmoset weight. And we've got Brass currently at 360 and Evie at 400. So again, Evie's at that top end, but both doing really well. I always prefer to have our animals a little bit heavier, and then if they do get sick, they've got a little bit to lose and they don't just go really, really skinny really quickly. So I'd rather have them at the slightly top end of their scale than at the bottom, really. So we are still working on Brass, but he is a healthy weight now.
The change in diet and a new home seem to have worked wonders for this curious-looking pair. Staff at the park constantly evaluate and update the health and welfare regimes of all the primates in their care. And an important element of that is diet. But there's one species at the park that relatively little is known about: the Bengal slow loris. However, with the help of sister sanctuary Dine Tien in Vietnam, they're constantly learning more about the needs and requirements of these unusual animals. Today, two of the loris, Boo and Bruce, are being given a different source of tree gum, something they would eat in the wild.
The gum is actually a really important part of the diet, although they do eat a lot of sort of fruits and insects and things as well. It provides a really good source of protein and it's full of lots of different minerals that they need as well, so it is a big part of what they eat.
For the last 2 years, the team at Dine Tien have been working hard, measuring and evaluating the diets of the lorises they care for, and in particular, examining which tree gum suits them best. It's this important in-situ research that helps centres like Monkey World continue to care for and protect this vulnerable species. The park's lorises are given gum every day, usually in log feeders placed around their enclosure. The aim is to mimic their natural feeding behaviour, gouging the tree to release the gum. Until today, the lorises have been given Arabic gum, but this morning they're trying the new Vietnamese variety. As always with loris, it's not a mad dash. Boo and Bruce make their way into the bedroom at slow loris pace. But once they get there, they both start tucking into the new gum. Boo and Bruce have been together for 2 years, since Bruce arrived from Hong Kong along with 4 others. They're an incredibly close pair and spend a lot of time playing and grooming each other.
They're actually sort of our most playful pair. So you quite often see these ridiculous hanging upside down off the roof, sort of play fight wrestle sessions. So yeah, little bit of lovers tiff from time to time, but generally they're a pretty solid pair.
But over the last year, Bruce has had to visit the vet on 3 occasions because of an unusual lump on the side of his face. Samples were taken, but the results were inconclusive. Although the lump hasn't reduced, it doesn't seem to be causing him any trouble. The 2 lorises have thoroughly enjoyed the new gum. Not only is it a good source of calcium, it's also known to improve their gut health. Today's success will set them up with a tasty natural diet for their future well-being. It's a hot and sunny morning at the park, but the care team are keeping their cool as they work to give Bart's chimp group the chance to do the same. They're distributing some of the largest ice lollies ever seen. They're so big and heavy, they need to be bolted onto the climbing frame. The giant lollies have been specially made with fruit and low-sugar squash, suitable for Bart, who has type 1 diabetes. It means the ices are a healthy snack for all the group.
I think we're so lucky to have sort of relatively big communities of chimpanzees, and we try and capitalise on that and do some group-based activities when we can. And it's really interesting to just see how the dynamics play out. It gives you further information about who sits where in the hierarchy and brings the group together, you know, as they would do in the wild, say with a large fruiting tree. So group activities are really important, and it's something we like to do here at Monkey World.
An excited group heads straight for the ices, with Gamba first on the scene. Although he quickly makes way as Bart muscles in. But soon, everyone is involved. And with such big ices on offer, unusually, some of the group opt to share. Grisby, Clin and Eddie seem happy to do just that. But high-ranking Buster has got one to himself for now, and it's finger-licking good. Bix has got this enrichment well and truly licked. While the others are occupied, Chatter has managed to pilfer a whole ice lolly for herself, without anyone noticing. Eddie has joined not-so-little brother Bart. It's great to see how well Bart is doing since being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. He's developed into a magnificent-looking alpha male.
He just takes your breath away. He's certainly his father's son, and it's just fantastic to see, you know, now that we're managing his diabetes and we've got over that health scare, he really is going from strength to strength, and the group are looking to him, and more you see all of those adult dominant male behaviours coming out in him. It's brought the community together. It was needed. I think he's there now. What a fantastic male.
While Bart has adapted brilliantly into his new role, there is one individual who's absent from all the excitement going on in the enclosure.
Toprish, unfortunately, still isn't coming outside, and we hoped over time that, you know, she would follow the group, but that hasn't happened. And today, with a big enrichment activity going on, we thought maybe the excitement would kind of outweigh the nerves, but she's yet to make an appearance, so that's something we need to continue to work on.
Luckily for Toprish, her good friend Chatter brings a large ice back into the bedrooms. Toprish gets a piece to enjoy. It's not quite what the team had in mind, but at least she's engaging with the group and, thanks to Chatter, not missing out. Next time on Monkey Life, rescued Capuchin Chook goes outside for the first time.
Her mobility is really good. She seems more confident and she seems way more relaxed in her environment as well.
And Hananya's chimps have a lucky dip for their breakfast. Today on Monkey Life, rescued Capuchin Chook goes outside for the first time.
Her mobility is really good. She seems more confident and she seems way more relaxed in her environment as well.
Hand-reared baby loris Bobbi gets ready to graduate.
I think we're at a crossroads right now. I think it's time to transition the baby into adult life.
And Hananya's chimps have a lucky dip for their breakfast. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Everybody's well aware that they need to be looked after carefully.
The park provides a home for more than 260 monkeys and apes from 24 different species. It's been 3 weeks since Alison travelled to West Yorkshire to rescue a female Capuchin living in an outdoor cage in a backyard. When she arrived at the park, a vet check revealed that, as well as missing fur on and around her tail, numerous fingers and toes had been amputated and she had bronchitis. But there was good news when the rest of the tests were declared clear and she was able to join Gizmo's group. The team have named her Chook and are very pleased with her progress.
Yeah, Chook's doing really well. She seems to have pretty good Capuchin behaviour. So in terms of interacting with the other Capuchins, she's doing wonderfully. She knows how to flirt and make friends. And when they do have a bit of a squabble with her, she knows to be submissive and do all of the right things, which is really great. She seems to really enjoy the companionship. Early on, we did have to separate her overnight still, even when we were doing the introductions. And she seemed a little bit more unsettled. And as soon as you put her with another animal the next day, she seemed more relaxed. So yeah, she seems to really respond to the companionship.
Along with male leader Gizmo, also rescued from the pet trade, the group is made up of 4 ladies. Chook has now met them all, not as one big group, but individually. The introductions have taken place indoors, where the team have more control if anything gets out of hand. But so far, things are progressing well.
One-on-one, it's really positive. We've seen some play sessions and lots of grooming sessions. So that's really, really positive. We're now trying to build it up a little bit, which with Capuchins is the really tricky stage. They don't necessarily always build bonds, and although one-on-one, they're perfectly fine. So we're now at the tricky stage of trying to build on the group.
Today, Donna is going to give the whole bunch outside access together. For Chook, this will be a first. Her initial obstacle is getting through the flap separating the bedrooms from the outside. Once that's negotiated, she heads straight out. She's a little wary and wide-eyed at the large space in front of her. The other females are quite content going about their own business, leaving Chook to find her own way. At first, she doesn't stray far from the entrance. Leader Gizmo has dealt with the new arrival really well. Since moving troop and living with his own little group of ladies, he's flourished, and it helps that the females all adore him. The care team hope the group's small size will prevent Chook feeling too overwhelmed. And she's finally started to explore the enclosure.
Her mobility is really good. She seems more confident and she seems way more relaxed in her environment as well. But generally she is very inquisitive. I think it will just take her a while to get used to her new surroundings and all the new sights and smells, which is understandable. She's popped out a few times and she seems happy, and gradually she'll just come out more and more as that confidence builds.
But that's enough excitement for today, and Chook heads back into the house. In the lemur enclosure at Malagasy, the troop are out exploring and foraging for food. But for the 11 residents, things are a little different today. In the last 24 hours, their home has had a bit of a revamp.
We've strung up a lot of new ropes. We've had some feeding platforms made that we can hoist high up into the trees to encourage lots of sort of eating at height from the lemurs. We've got numerous new sort of baskets and things, again, that we've strung up on pulleys so that we can lower and raise them up into the treetops. And by having sort of raised platforms and bowls and baskets and things, we can basically spread the food out all amongst the treetops, which gives everybody good opportunity to get to food. And also adjusting their enclosure from time to time as well keeps things interesting, it keeps them exploring and interested and gives them something to think about.
Along with the feeding stations, new ropes provide access points for otherwise hard-to-reach areas. These allow the more nimble members of the troop to explore even further. Those with reduced mobility still have plenty of easier options to feed. The enclosure is full of natural browse and plants for the lemurs to enjoy. And at this time of year, it's the brambles that provide a delicious bounty. Some of the lemurs are making the most of the juicy blackberries. Ring-tailed lemurs have tough, padded feet and hands, meaning the prickly thorns aren't a problem. The care team have also cleared pathways to give them access to the wild fruit.
So ringtails are pretty opportunistic with feeding. They're quite keen on trying a lot of different things. But in the wild, when food becomes scarce in one area, they do spend a lot of time moving around to try and find another good source of food. And although they will travel in the treetops, it's quite common sight to see ringtails walking along the ground with their tails held up, sort of walking from one area to another in pursuit of food. So it's kind of important to have the same setup here. Plenty of action up in the trees, but also plenty of pathways and areas for them to walk around on the ground as well.
All the Malagasy lemurs are actively exploring their new-look enclosure, including the oldest residents who've both recovered since recent visits to the vet. White Spot is now pain-free and eating normally after having an infected canine removed. And Houdini, who recently broke his left arm, is now moving around comfortably.
It basically meant that he had to have some cage rest for a while, so he has had to be in the overnight pen with a different sort of friend every day as company, while he has had time to sort of start using the arm again as it was healing. We've seen gradual improvements. You know, he started putting the hand down from time to time, it kind of got better and better, and now we're at the stage where he's using the arm normally, so it seems like that's healed up really well, and he's back to exploring with everybody else and being a key part of the group.
It seems the newly revamped enclosure is a hit with the whole Malagasy lemur family. At the park's Loris complex, the maintenance team are busy adding another bedroom to the existing accommodation. They're getting it ready for the park's youngest resident, a baby loris who, up till now, has been hand-reared by Alison and the Loris team. And the big news is, it's finally been confirmed Bob is actually a girl. And she's now called Bobbi.
I think we're at a crossroads right now. I think it's time to transition the baby into adult life. So we are still providing a fair amount of attention and care, but to be quite honest, I think we're about ready to graduate and to be a loris again, which is fantastic.
Now 16 weeks old, the infant's progress has been rapid, and she's eating a wide variety of insects, fruit, and vegetables.
Right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 200, 201.
Since birth, her weight has increased by 600%, from 34 grams to more than 200. And she's now displaying more and more characteristic loris behavior, including becoming mostly nocturnal.
Following on from that, we just stud the cage now with food. Only have to hand out the gum as to not have it everywhere, and the locusts because they're a bit quick. Are you gonna grab one? You're gonna have to be quick. They're gonna go everywhere in a moment. Oh, good one. So this is, I think, gonna be one of the very last glimpses of daylight hours. That's what they want to be, is nocturnal.
Bobbi now needs to get used to the sights, sounds and smells of the rest of the Loris complex residents before actually meeting them. That means living side by side in her own bedroom, but without any physical contact just yet. The care team have been preparing the area.
We have made the cages bigger, putting more and more branches in all those cages. They instinctively have a grip because as babies they have to grip onto their mums, but climbing is still a skill. It's still, they have to learn it, they have to figure out which are the strong branches, which can support their weight. If they get somewhere, they need to figure out if they can get to the next place they want to be or if they have to turn around. And turning around on a branch can be quite tricky for a little Loris.
Discovering via DNA tests that the baby was a girl has meant a change of plan at the Loris complex.
Our end game was to hopefully have a pair, a male-female pair with him and Nora. Obviously, we now have 2 little girls, Nora and Bobbi. So the aim is still to have them living together. Hopefully they will interact and grow up well together. But obviously, we don't know a long-term end for these 2 now. We will at some point have to try and find them mates.
So far, so good for this female baby Loris. When the weather's hot and sunny, it's tempting for the primates to just lie back and enjoy it. But today, the primate care team are hoping to encourage the 19 chimps in Hananya's troop to be a bit more active. They're working hard to create an interesting and exciting diversion for them. The team are filling an empty pond in the enclosure with a mountain of straw. And to encourage the chimps to get involved, they're hiding a whole range of goodies, including some the chimps don't see very often, and certainly not in such large quantities. Into the straw pond are going nuts, whole aubergines, cooling ice lollies, and plenty of fresh-cut browse and maize. And to keep the chimps cool and refreshed, there are also towels soaked in cold water. It promises to be a lot of fun. The group are let out, with alpha male Hananya leading the way. There's a lot of excited hooting as they work out there's something different in their enclosure. But despite their interest, they're a little cautious. Valerie checks things out from above, as does Honey. Even Hananya isn't sure. Everyone is wary of the straw. They don't know what could be lurking inside. Clinging to the hoses above them for safety, the chimps tentatively investigate what's below. Slowly, they start venturing into the straw. And then the foraging begins in earnest, with Arthur and Thelma burrowing enthusiastically. Shamak has found an aubergine. Arthur an ice lolly. Cookie a tasty yogurt drink. Thelma, yep, another aubergine. In fact, aubergine seems to be everyone's favourite vegetable today. Hananya and Arthur both get stuck into the healthy snack too. The mountain of straw is like a giant lucky dip. The chimps forage for food not knowing what they're going to find next. Shamak cools himself down with a juicy ice lolly. Kiki and Trudy, 2 of the lower-ranking chimps, are quite content eating the corn that's also been distributed. The youngster of the group, Thelma, has her own aubergine, but she's taking a real interest in marjolines. Now she's growing up, the other chimps won't always share. There's plenty to go round, but squabbles still arise. This time, it's the last straw for Arthur and Honey. But it's all part of normal life in a chimp community, and things soon calm down. And with the straw dip supply exhausted, it's back to relaxing and contemplating the day ahead. With autumn fast approaching, staff at the park have been turning their attention to more seasonal forms of enrichment for the primates. Over at the squirrel monkey enclosure, they've been preparing a spiky, delicious and nutritious treat for the group. Teasels full of edible seeds and covered with mealworms. Also on the menu are colourful rose hips, an excellent source of vitamin C. However, one pair of primates are conspicuous by their absence. Saki monkeys Desmond and Chloe.
They have decided they'd rather not live with such noisy friends. The Sakis enjoy a slightly more chilled, slower pace of life. So although they were getting on pretty well with the squirrels in the group, it's just a bit too much for them. So they are in the enclosure that's just on the other side of the house now, very much enjoying a more peaceful sort of life than the squirrel monkeys are able to give.
So today it's just the 7 squirrel monkeys competing for the treats in the enclosure. And it doesn't take the group long to decide what's on offer is right up their street. Three of the troop's newest additions, common squirrel monkeys Lucille, Logan and Lopez, who were rescued last year, are most enthusiastic. Elderly Lucille has been transformed since she arrived at the park as an emaciated, nervous and timid character, with serious psychological problems. Now she's a completely different monkey, confident and full of energy. She's put on weight and her fur is in excellent condition. It's great to see her interacting with everything around her. Logan is the biggest male in the group, and now the man in charge. He's kind and calm, and a great role model for the young and boisterous Lopez. The youngster, along with Nueve, is one of the liveliest characters in the troupe, always on the move and often causing mayhem as he goes.
For squirrel monkeys, life is never dull. You are constantly on the go, you're constantly active. So anything new and exciting like enrichment that we can throw in really helps them with that, being busy and doing stuff. And they're just generally a very engaged group, particularly now we have got the bigger group. It seems to have brought a new lease of life to some of the older characters as well, particularly the 3 that we actually rescued last year. We've seen them become these really sort of big, strong, healthy monkeys, but actually adding them into our other group of squirrel monkeys has brought this whole new lease of life. They have new friends to interact with, which is wonderful to see.
Nueve is the second youngest resident of the squirrel monkey house. She's matured a lot since arriving 18 months ago from Chessington Zoo. But she's still full of curiosity. The mealworms have definitely grabbed her attention. The 3 older ladies, black-capped squirrel monkeys Topsy, Turvy and Azzy, are taking a back seat today. With their energetic years behind them, they tend to prefer a quieter life these days. Although Turvy can't resist trying a rose hip. It's been a great enrichment for the group. They've enjoyed some of their favourite foods, but had to work to get them, just as they would in the wild. Monkey World aims to give the residents at the park as natural a life as possible, and the primates here continue to flourish. This year, along with baby Loris Bobbi, there was a woolly baby for Pakaya, a daughter called Enya, and Marmoset Ruby surprised everyone with quads, 2 of whom survived. Plus, there was an even more rare arrival. Red-bellied guenons Nia and Benny became parents to little Biff. They are the only known family of their kind in captivity.
It's a bit of a voyage of discovery, not only for them, but for us too.
Along with the births, there were other newcomers too. Youngster Hujan came to the park from Krefeld Zoo in Germany. found a foster mum in Roro, and joined Tuan's group.
He's so confident. This is incredible for Hujan.
Alison went to Thailand to rescue female chimp Nari, an old friend she'd met before.
Hi, you. Do you remember?
Despite her previous life as a circus chimp and then living alone for more than 13 years, she settled well into Brian's group.
She's just a really, really nice person and she doesn't want any grief.
Nari displayed great social skills and an awareness of chimp society. She now spends her days with her new friends, enjoying the freedom of the outdoor enclosure. But another recent arrival struggled with the challenge of going outside. Chimp Toprish still spends the majority of her time in the bedrooms and the tunnel leading to the outside. But she's growing in confidence every day. As well as welcoming newcomers to the park, the care team had to say goodbye to others. Squirrel monkey Charlie passed on after the vet discovered he had a number of inoperable tumours. He was a lovable character, and after being rescued from the UK pet trade, was given the best life possible. Another loss was Saki monkey Tutu, who'd suffered health issues from birth. His father Desmond missed him, but was comforted by his partner Chloe. Along with the excitement of new arrivals, the long-term residents were kept busy too. And they particularly enjoyed the warm summer months. Bart's group loved their ice lollies. The bachelors solved their puzzle cubes. And the Capuchins enjoyed a fur-rubbing frenzy. While the lemurs showed off their acrobatic skills tackling hidden breakfast treats. It's been an eventful year all round for Alison and the team, but there's no let-up. Alison's already working on new cases of primates needing the park's help. Who knows what next year will bring?